tonight.
I thought I could have taken her.
A Saskatoon woman shares her story after being attacked in a community garden. A pair of Saskatchewan basketball stars bring home gold for Canada. And we take to the skies to learn about the high-flying fun of paramotoring.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Monday, August 25th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams. Thank you for joining us. A Saskatoon grandmother is recovering after she was attacked in a community garden. It happened when the 75-year-old was walking her dog last week. Dan Zakreski has the details on what happened next.
She cut up all my hand up here, and she sliced it. And I got about 4 or 5 stitches. And then I got one up here in my arm.
Bev Hill says the stitches and scars from the attack hurt. But that's not all that stings.
I think I hurt my pride more.
Why is that?
Well, I couldn't fight her off.
You thought you could have taken her?
I thought I could have taken her.
It all started last Thursday when Bev Hill was walking her dog Sprite through the garden and spotted a young woman with a hand spade. She was going from plot to plot. She asked the woman what she was doing. They exchanged words, and that's when Hill got jumped and dragged to the ground by her hair. Hill says maybe she should have left well enough alone, just ignored the woman. At 75, she certainly never planned on rolling around in a fight in an onion patch. Apparently, that's just how it goes sometimes. Hill used to have a plot in the garden. She can see her friends working in it every day. She says some things are worth standing up for.
People work hard for what they get. And I've worked since I was 14 years old. And I know what it's like to work. So when I see the patch, when I see the people working here, I thought, you know, it shouldn't be destroyed, you know?
Police arrested a 27-year-old woman from Prince Albert. She's charged with aggravated assault, assaulting a police officer, and breach of probation. She'll be in court this week for a bail hearing. Dan Zakreski, CBC News, Saskatoon.
City councillors in Prince Albert spent part of Monday discussing a new complex needs emergency shelter. It would be the first in the city, located in the downtown core. Council has now taken a vote on allowing that project to go ahead, and our Jeremy Warren is there now with the latest. Jeremy, what was Council's decision?
Yes, hi Ethan. So it was basically a rezoning vote. The city has identified the piece of property for this complex needs emergency shelter, which is provincially operated and funded. So they had a vote. It was not unanimous, even though all councillors agreed that this type of facility is needed in Prince Albert. They had decided to put it at an old SLGA liquor store in downtown Prince Albert at 99 9th Street East. This is the involuntary type of shelter, which already operates in Saskatoon and Regina. So this is not a place that somebody can just go up to if they need a bed or place to stay for the night. This is where police take intoxicated people who may pose a threat to themselves or other people, and this facility holds them for a maximum of 24 hours. They get to detox, perhaps get connected to other support services if they so choose. And like I said, this is similar to ones already operating in Regina and Saskatoon. In fact, one city councillor here in Prince Albert said she toured the Saskatoon facility, which she thought would be more like jail cells, but she was pleased to see how these types of places operate.
People have the opportunity to detox in safety with medical staff there. They have the opportunity to discuss whether they're ready to go or not. They have the ability to shower. They have the ability to wash all of their goods, and also their personal possessions are put in a room that cleans them for them as well.
So, Jeremy, now that this has passed council, what happens next?
Yes, so it's sort of out of the city's hands now. Like I mentioned, this is a provincial project, so the city has done its role rezoning to pave the way for this facility to open. Now the province will have to choose the group or whoever to operate this shelter. And while they're doing that, they'll be coming up with designs for the renovations of this building. They will have to kind of add some facilities like showers and whatnot, and boost some security measures. And then a provincial rep at the meeting said they hope to have all the work done by March 2026, and the city hopes the shelter itself opens up soon after that.
Thank you, Jeremy. CBC's Jeremy Warren in Prince Albert. The Saskatchewan NDP is calling out the government for what it says is poor funding of mental health and addictions. On Monday, it called on Mental Health and Addictions Minister Laurie Carr to immediately increase funding for frontline workers and to do a better job tracking overdose deaths in the province. It also alleged the government is exaggerating how many treatment spaces it has. NDP mental health critic Betty Nippy-Albright pointed to the Willowview Treatment Centre near Lumsden. She says 40 of its 60 spaces are virtual beds and that new beds aren't being added quickly enough.
Every single day people are dying. The media doesn't know about it, the community doesn't know about it, but we get calls that people are dying every single day. And we need those treatment beds today, not in 5 years, not slowly trickling in. We need that today so that people's lives are saved.
The government says there are 281 drug treatment spaces across the province. 42 are virtual. Its goal is to add 500 spaces total. It also says Saskatchewan saw a decline in the number of overdose deaths in 2024 compared to the previous year. Saskatchewan has received more than 1,100 new spots for foreign workers for this year. It comes after the Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program had to be rebooted in March. That was in response to Ottawa slashing the number of available spots for foreign workers in the province. The new spaces bring the province's total close to 5,000. Up to a quarter of the additional nominations will be allocated to those who can work in trucking, accommodations, food services, and retail trade. Well, one Saskatchewan man's business is taking flight. He is taking to the skies with paramotoring, and he says it can be used for more than just recreation.
I was scared of heights. I always had a fear of heights. I don't as much anymore flying paramotor, but think of a hot air balloon ride, just a little bit faster. It was about 12 years ago is when I got into paramotor, and we've been running the schools now for about 5 or 6 years, sharing passions and getting people licensed and into the right equipment. When you're able to take off, fly wherever you want, and land right back where you started, it cuts down on all of the extra travel time, or even hot air balloon. You start here, you land here, you gotta wait for the balloon to come down and then drive back to your vehicle. We start here, fly wherever, land right here. So using paramotor to actually as a means of transportation to get somewhere, it's pretty cool. And when we're in the air, because we're the slower moving aircraft, we actually have right of way, which is really cool. Hitting the farmers, I mean, they have this in their backyard, and it's not a drone. Like, I know that some farms use drones to scout out like different crops that need spraying. When it's your eyes and you can actually see what's happening. For his 14th birthday, we got him, took him to Maui and got him PADI certified. And he's so intelligent and smart on the online portion, taking what he learned from the PADI course and then applying it to the paramotor, the ultralight course. There's a lot of correlation.
Seeing my dad, first of all, and then especially social media helped as well. I'd watch videos of lots of beautiful paramotor around the world, and it just looks amazing.
When we're up there, we get up to about 15,000, kill the motor. Now you have about 45 minutes of dead silence like this, floating down, grab your coffee, send your text, whatever you want, and it's just so peaceful and so beautiful.
You don't even really believe it at first. You kind of just feel like, oh, I'm just level, and then you start going up, and you're like, holy crap, I'm already about 20 feet in the air, this is awesome. And then you just keep going up and you just see everything.
It opens up the doors to seeing Saskatchewan and the world. It's taken me so many different places, and you're seeing everything at a bird's eye view and three-dimensional.
Well, this weekend marked the close of the 11th annual Regina International Film Festival and Awards. This year's event included nearly 100 films from a variety of categories, and the awards were given out to some of the best flicks out there. To see a full list of the shows, the nominees, and the winners, you can head to riffa.ca. Stay with us. We're back after the break. The Saskatoon Airport Authority will soon be powered by a 1 megawatt new solar farm. It will generate 20% of the power used by the airport for the next several decades. The project will also help the Saskatoon Airport achieve net zero carbon emissions by 2050.
Solar was just the perfect fit for us with, looking at how do we manage energy at the same time, bring on something that will help us move into the future by reducing our carbon footprint at the same time. There are other solar plants at airports, but I think we're pretty unique in the way that we're using the power directly, and it's not just, let's say, an energy provider who's selling power afterwards. So this is everything the power that's coming from here is being used by the YXC Saskatoon Airport. This solar project is going to provide 20% of the power to the terminal building, and is really the centerpiece of several years of strategic initiative that we've had at the Airport Authority on reducing our carbon footprint and at the same time building energy efficiency into everything we're doing at the airport. I would say one of the direct benefits of a solar plant like this is being able to provide cleaner energy locally on campus to encourage the use of, let's say, electric vehicle ground support equipment more readily here on this site. So that is one of the benefits of having this kind of investment, that we can have those conversations and get those investments within the ground service equipment as probably the leading edge of that transition from diesel and gas to renewable energy. It's a pretty impressive setup, and it's going to make a big difference, the single biggest difference in our reduction in carbon footprint and energy management.
And weather specialist Helena Mahalik joins us now. Helena, August may soon be coming to a close. Hard to believe, but it seems like summer's just getting going.
I know, Ethan. I feel like I've been waiting all month long for some heat, and we're finally going to get a few 30-degree days in the province. We're getting quite a few of those days. It's not uncommon, though, to have a hot streak like this at the end of August. Let's take a look back at some of the heat that we've experienced at the end of August in years past. In Regina in 2023, we had about 2 days of this 30-degree heat, getting as hot as about 31 degrees. But in 2022 is when we had another really big stretch of this hot heat and getting up to 34 degrees. And keep in mind, this is just our daytime highs, but with the humidex, these temperatures would have felt closer to 40 degrees. And Saskatoon is quite similar. In 2023, we had about only 1 day of this 30-degree weather, getting up to 32 degrees. But in 2022, we also had 3 days in Saskatoon of 30-degree heat, getting up to 34 degrees as well. And in the province on Monday, we did see temperatures really jump up. We started in about single digits Monday morning, especially in southern Saskatchewan, but a high pressure system caused temperatures to jump up to that 30-degree mark or the high 20s. Much of Alberta, including Lloydminster, is actually under a heat statement due to daytime highs being up to 33 degrees over the next few days. However, we are going to start seeing some relief overnight, especially in south and central Saskatchewan. We're going to be seeing some overnight lows hovering just at 10 degrees or even a few degrees below. Monday night, we're seeing that in the southeast southeast corner for areas around Estevan, some single digits there. And throughout much of south and central in the next few days, we are going to be seeing some cooler temperatures. However, northern Saskatchewan isn't going to quite get that same relief. We are going to see overnight lows in the between 10 and 15 degrees, so hovering in the low teens there, not providing too much relief from the heat. So we wouldn't be surprised in the next few days if some of those heat warnings or statements got extended into northern Saskatchewan as well. It is going to be hot all week long. We're seeing a lot of those deep reds in our map here. It is set to get hotter every single day, and by Friday, central Saskatchewan is going to have a daytime high of 33 degrees, and again with some humidex values going to be feeling closer to 40 degrees with that. And with a high pressure system, we are going to have a few days of very clear and calm weather, perfect for getting out and heading onto the lake. So Ethan, although it took a while, we're finally getting our summer after all.
I guess better late than never, they say. Thanks, Helena.
Thanks, Ethan.
Well, they are rivals turned roommates. Basketball stars Gage Grassick and Jade Belmore might play for different universities in our province, but they teamed up for Canada at the Junior Pan American Games in Paraguay and came home with the gold.
Anytime Canada competes in anything, we have some pretty high expectations, not only on ourselves, but just as a country as well. But just couldn't be more proud to wear Canada across my chest again and just go and play and give it all.
It was awesome. It was a surreal feeling, you know. I think it's a very cool moment in terms of thinking about how big the actual event is, and looking back to that, I wish I could keep replaying it in my head.
In Paraguay, we were just such a tight-knit group and just, again, some unbelievably talented athletes. So, I mean, as an athlete, you always say you're confident, but you're never overconfident. But just the preparation and the work that we put into getting into that finals, I knew it was going to be a great game.
I love that feeling of you know, having that pressure on you.
Belmont necesita la tranquilidad Canadá de este punto y no habrá espacio.
But you know, when that buzzer rings,
Recuperación mexicana, quita la pelota Canadá y sí. Oh, Canadá! Gold medal!
It's that same feeling I felt when we won a national championship with the Huskies, and so I just can be more grateful to have that experience and that feeling again.
You know, obviously there's a little bit of rivalry there, the Huskies. It's very tough for me to get past that, but no, she's an amazing person off the court. We were roommates, so it was very cool to kind of just talk to her and communicate about other stuff off the court. But on the court, it was a nice kind of, we were going back in time a little bit with the basketball sass, like you said, and getting that connection back, and it felt very normal. And again, very, very amazing to play with another player from Saskatchewan as well, at a very high level. I like just how quick the games are. Obviously, they're 10 minutes long. Therefore, making the transition from, if you make a mistake, I'm missing a basket maybe, but the transition from, now I got to play defense. I love that. I love how quick you have to just like turn off your brain and be like, I got to forget about that and move on to the next. I think that that's helping me in my 5-on-5 game as well. It makes you realize there's so much more to the sport, and especially in 3-on-3, which is still growing and new. I think it's a very cool experience in terms of, like, we're kind of at the start of it. We started at the 3-on-3, the glory of it all, and it being in the Olympics and stuff. It's a very cool realization to kind of be in that moment and be at the start of that.
It's actually pretty hard, I would say. There's definitely advantages of playing both, and there's definitely a lot of crossover between the two. But I would say playing 3x3 for me, it's a little bit harder to switch back into 5-on-5.
The adjustment it's very different. I would say that in terms of translating back to 5-on-5 basketball, you know, 3-on-3 teaches you a lot about, you know, spacing on the court and how you move with the ball with players. Obviously, there's more space on the court. So it really, it teaches you about the little things, the little aspects of it. And again, it's a different sport. Like, the transition of it is very different. So I'm taking pieces of the 3-on-3 and trying to translate it to 5-on-5. Same with 5-on-5 to 3-on-3. So I think it kind of goes back and forth, but it's still a learning process for me.
Well, the Saskatchewan Roughriders retro logo will fly out front of Regina City Hall all week ahead of their Sunday tilt against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. It is the 60th edition of the Labor Day Classic this weekend. The The Riders head into that game with an 8-2 record after dropping their second loss to the Calgary Stampeders this season on Saturday, 32-15. Stay with us. We will have a wrap of Team Saskatchewan's performance at the Canada Summer Games and a final look at the forecast for you after the break. The Canada Summer Games have come to a close in St. John's, and Team Sask had an action-packed final weekend on the medal podium. Here's a recap of some of what happened. The women's artistic swimming team of Jolie Friesen and Sienna Couturin took silver in their event Saturday. The men's diving team also picked up silver with a stellar performance by 15-year-old Cash Tarasoff of Saskatoon. Tarasoff and his teammates Lila Stewart and Isa Koop then struck gold in the mixed teams diving event. Out on the track, it was a golden moment for Jonathan Podbielski. He placed first in the men's 5,000-meter race. The women had a good day, too. The 4x400-meter relay team also picking up a gold medal. And back inside on the volleyball court, it was a bronze medal for the women's team. After losing the semifinal to Ontario, they beat out Manitoba 3-2. In other results, the men's softball team lost 8-5 to Nova Scotia for a fourth-place finish. The women's baseball team won 12-7 against Quebec to finish in fifth. The men's volleyball team lost to New Brunswick, good enough to finish in sixth. It was an eighth-place finish for the men's lacrosse team after losing to New Brunswick. And the women's soccer team rounded out their games with a ninth-place finish. Saskatchewan's final medal count is 48, 21 bronze, 14 silver, and 13 gold. And Helena is back now with one last look at our forecast.
It's going to be hot all week long. I can't wait for some 30-degree weather. Let's take a look at the forecast for the city of Regina. Barely a cloud in the sky throughout the next few days, and temperatures Tuesday will be above 30 degrees. And staying that way until about Thursday, we're seeing a bit of cloud come back in, and temperatures dropping just below the 30-degree mark, but still going to be quite hot with temperatures in those high 20s. Our overnight lows all week are going to be between 10 and 15 degrees. In Saskatoon, we are seeing sun all throughout the week, not even a cloud in the sky, and temperatures are going to be hovering around 30 degrees all week long, not even seeing a chance of wind or a breeze either. Temperatures hovering above 30 degrees for the next 3 days, and heading into the weekend, temperatures dropping just slightly, still in those high 20s though. Perfect for kids before they get back to school to enjoy some of these outdoors, Ethan. So beautiful weather over the next few days.
Yeah, I don't mind a little summer in September. Thanks so much, Helena.
Thanks, Ethan.
And that is our news for this Monday. For news anytime, you can always head to our website or our YouTube channel or download the CBC News app on your smartphone or tablet. Thanks so much for watching.